I owned this. I made it my own. I showed who I am through this character. We want to believe, right? We want to do this audition and believe that we're a contender. Like with this, it could be mine. Except when you don't get the call back, right? When that expectation doesn't pan out and then disappointment sets in. How to manage expectation and disappointment in your career. Hi there, Jodie Bentley here, actor and branding and career coach for actors. And today I want to talk about how to manage expectation and disappointment in your career. Now, I think I fell into a pattern last year where I would do an audition, and I always have a thing where, unless I really love the sides, I'll keep them. But I toss the sides, I move on, right? I move on. And in reflection on my year, realizing that I think I let go of auditions or opportunities too fast as a protection. Our minds are always trying to keep us safe and constantly protecting us. That's their job, right? And I think that was an easy thing. I finish thing, I move on and protect myself and just let go of any possibility, hope, let go of it. And so this year, I'm wanting to do things a little bit differently and approaching auditions, opportunities, callbacks with this expectation of why not me. And really trying to embrace this word expectation. I have an expectation that I could book this. And it's been a really interesting journey thus far. I don't know, I've had 9 or 10 auditions in January, and it's been a really interesting roller coaster ride. And I wanted to share with you sort of what I've uncovered, because I think it's important. So, because there's this, believing, like we want to believe, right? We want to do this audition and believe that we're a contender, like with this, it could be mine. Yes. So we want to believe that this can happen. And that's what I've really been working on, is like, I owned this. I made it my own. I showed who I am through this character, and I could do this. And I have an expectation of getting that call back. Now, which is great, except when you don't get the call back, right? When that expectation doesn't pan out and then disappointment sets in. So what I was really doing before was protecting myself from feeling disappointed. Now, disappointment isn't a bad thing. We don't have to feel rosy, sunshiny, smiley, optimistic every second of every day. It's okay to feel disappointed. So that's what I've been learning on my journey. It's okay to feel disappointed. So we want to believe that it can happen, but then what do we do when it doesn't? And so what I've been doing, and my accountability partner sort of helped me come up with this as well, is looking at my auditions of last year. I had around, I think it was an 18% booking ratio last year. So I'm rounding that up to 20 this year, right? So now when I have an audition, I'm expecting it. But now if I don't get that callback or I don't get that booking, now I'm having a curiosity in how I look at it. So having an expectation and a curiosity of, I wonder if this project is going to be one of the 20% I book this year. I wonder. And that's keeping me curious about it, as opposed to, it's got to happen, right? Because sometimes that expectation can put us into the place of, now this has to happen because I'm expecting it to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'm a failure. So that curiosity of, I wonder if this is one of those 20% that I'm going to book, because we're not going to book them all. We know this. If you have 100% booking ratio, you're not getting enough auditions, right? We know that we're not going to book everything. So I've been reframing it to look at the data. The data is, historically, I've booked around 20% of my auditions. So now my reframe is, I expect it. I believe it. I know this could be possible. And I'm curious if it is going to be one of the 20%. And if it is, great. And if it's not, there will be more, and I will find my 20%. So that's kind of been a reframe I'm working with. And I want to share with you 3 things of how to manage disappointment when it does come up, because it's going to come up. There's going to be auditions where you're going to be like, oh my God, Jodie, this is the one. This is what I want. It felt like me. It was easy. And then you might not get it. So how do we manage that disappointment? Well, first of all, Trust your time is coming. Have a mantra. Perhaps it is, this one didn't pan out as I expected, and that's okay because my time is coming and this wasn't the one. Right? Sort of what I was saying at the beginning, right? Having that kind of mantra of, is this one of my, I guess this wasn't one of my 20%. Great, I'm moving on to the next, right? Having some kind of mantra to move you through and manage that disappointment. Secondly, I invite you to write down a list of wins that did happen from that audition. So I recently had an audition for this feature film, and it was a little bit different than stuff I normally go out for. I typically go out for very polished women. And this was a woman who ran a drug ring and killed somebody and was in prison. But she was still very, like, my characters are very myopic and obsessed and, direct and blunt and all that. And she was still that, but it was just this different, cold energy I got to really tap into. And I loved it. It was so much fun. And I was like, oh my God, I could do this. I can see myself doing it. It was fabulous. And I didn't get a call back. As of now, there's still time. It's a film. Who knows when they're doing other things. But right now, I haven't gotten a call back. And this was about 5 days ago. So I decided, though, to look at it and go, okay, but what did come from that? What came from that was my managers watched my tape and went, oh, this was great. This was great. And I was like, yes, I want to lean into more stuff like this. And I told them what I wanted and I explained why. They went, yes, we can see this. This is great. Awesome. Now we've expanded my casting a little bit. My manager's opening up a little bit. These headshots that we got at the end of last year are working to get me that stuff. So now my master plan of getting more roles like this is working. Hooray! I auditioned for a new office that's never called me in before. Hooray! That's a huge win. Now I also have a great self-tape that I could use for a CD workshop if I want to do that. Or I have a great self-tape that my team can use to pitch. Amazing. So 3 really great wins came out of that audition that I did not get a call back for. So write your list of wins that did happen. And the third thing, which probably should have been my first thing, is just share how you feel. Share how you feel. I talked to a friend the other day, this morning actually, and I was like, I feel really disappointed. I was really excited to be seen for this different thing, and it felt so right. And I feel really disappointed and sad. So share how you feel, because if we hold it in, it festers. If we talk about it and let it out, we can release it. So those are my 3 ways to manage disappointment and how I'm reframing this idea of really believing in myself and expecting that I can do this, I can book this, but then how to release it if it doesn't happen. All right, let me know how you feel about this in the comments below. I'm so curious to have a conversation about this because this is stuff we don't really talk about, right? We talk about the bookings, the this, the that, but we don't talk about how to manage the disappointment that inevitably comes because you're not booking everything. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.